In today's video, we're going to discuss the minority attack. In our first example, we have a game by Bent Larsen, and I'm going to show you in general how the minority attack works. And we'll see through our examples that there's a different tactical ways that the person employing the minority attack can win with it. And then I'll give you another resource on YouTube for more examples. So in this particular position, we see basically the general plan will be for white to advance his b pawn here with the idea that he is going to capture on c6. And in some cases, that's also supported by the a pawn, especially when black tries to diffuse this with a6. So let's see how that goes. This is the game Bent Larsen versus Miguel Cuellar Guichardo from Munich in 1958. So an early example here. I'm going to go through it fairly quickly so that you can see how the minority attack creates weaknesses in black's pawn structure that extends through to the endgame. Okay, a5, trying to blunt the minority attack. So white prepares with a3, knight to h5, exchanging dark square bishops. And we'll see that this exchange actually helps white to continue with his plans. b4, knight to g6. Now, note that it would be a mistake to take on a5 because if b takes a5, then rook takes a5, and now black will be attacking the weak a3 pawn. Knight to g3, knight takes g3, h takes g3, knight to f8, knight to a4, and black or white is threatening to perhaps hop onto the b6 square here. So a takes b4, a takes b4, queen to d8, preventing white from hopping on to b6, but that allows white to play b5. Rook to e6, knight to c5, threatening the rook. Rook to h6, bishop takes c6, and bishop takes c6. So this is the kind of the ideal position that white wants to get out of the minority attack, where he attacks, where he'll be able to attack in the future this c6 pawn here. So let's see what happens here. White plays rook to a1, and in general it's good to exchange pieces when you have a structural advantage over your opponent. Rook takes a1, rook takes a1, queen to g5, and black is trying to create some counterplay. Bishop to e2, bishop to f5, queen to d1. Just note here that white can kind of take his time. There's no need to rush this because that c6 pawn isn't going anywhere. Rook to d6, rook to a8. Okay, white starts to penetrate into black's position. Rook to d8, queen to a4, rook to a8, rook takes a8, queen takes a8. And we can see here now that with the exchange of pieces, this weakness on c6 is highlighted. Queen to g6, protecting c6. Queen to d8, queen to f6, and here white is happy to exchange because now he's going into a winning endgame. Queen takes f6, g takes f6, king to f1. And here we'll see how white will just continue to move forward. Knight takes d7, bishop takes d7, and bishop to d3. h6 so that the pawn isn't hanging and the king can escape. And now we'll see in the endgame both sides try to bring their kings toward the center. King to e2, bishop to g4 check, king to d2, king to f8, f3, bishop to c8, king to c3. And we can see what white's trying to do. He's trying to get to that weak pawn so that he can attack it. King to e7, king to b4, king to d6. Obviously preventing the king from getting to um, c5. g4, bishop to b7, king to a5. So now he's going to evade this way. c5, and now it would be a mistake to take a d takes c5 check, because king takes c5, and now it's black who penetrates into white's position, or at the very least he will be able to get rid of his isolated d-pawn. So instead, white simply plays king to b3, attacking the bishop, c4. Now this seems to give black a protected pass pawn, which normally would be good, but as we can see here, he will not be able to advance it because the light square bishop covers the c2 square, and black will not be able to advance. Bishop to f5, bishop to c6, king to a5, bishop to e8, king to b4. And now we'll see that white will expose this pawn weakness. Bishop to c6, e4. And now, of course, d takes e4, f takes e4, and black's king cannot support here because all these squares are covered, and white will be able to capture this pawn on the next turn. So going back, black played bishop to b7, e takes d5, bishop takes d5, bishop to e4. Now, of course, white would be happy to exchange, and he will actually force the exchange in a few moves here. Bishop to e6, king to c3, king to e7, bishop to f5, trying to exchange that bishop, which is now forced to go between the d5 and e6 squares. Bishop to d5, and white plays bishop to b1. He can play bishop to c8, which will force the exchange, but he does that in a move later anyway. So bishop to e6, bishop to f5, repeating the position, bishop to d5, and now bishop to c8. And I did just want to show you how he converts this. I know it's a long game segment, but let's keep going here. Bishop to e6, bishop takes e6, f takes e6, king takes c4, and white goes on to win in this endgame. Here's another position after white has achieved the pawn structure he's looking for in the minority attack with the backward pawn on c6. This is from the game Hogdson Murugan from the British Championships in 1993. And in this particular game, we'll see how white gains an initiative by constantly pressuring this c6 pawn, and he's able to use it to achieve other strategic and tactical aims. Okay, so rook to b6, adding a third attacker. Rook to c8, defending the c6 pawn. Queen to a2, and here we see that white is going to reposition this queen in order to penetrate into black's position. King to g7. Here, as we'll see in a little bit, he takes the king off of the back rank in order to avoid any complications later. Queen to a6. Rook to c7, moving the attacked rook. Queen to a8. And now the queen is on the 8th rank, and we'll see here how tactically it is a dangerous thing for black. Queen to f5, threatening the check on f2. Rook to f1, defending. Knight to f6, and here we can see that the intention will be to help support the rook trying to take back the 8th rank. g4, attacking the queen. Queen to f3, and knight to g3. And now we could see that starting off with this weakness on c6, white now has some weaknesses around his king. Rook to e8, rook to b8, and black is very wise not to take on b8, because if rook takes b8, queen takes b8, and now the threat here is against the rook, but also potential threats here after moves like knight to f5 check. So, for example, rook to d7, knight to f5 check, king to g6, queen to f8, and black's going to lose more material trying to prevent his king from getting mated. So let's go back. Instead, he plays rook c to e7, which now allows a knight fork and the winning of an exchange. King to g6, knight takes e7 check, rook takes e7, and now queen takes c6, wins that c6 pawn anyway. And after a couple more moves, rook to e6, queen to c2 check, king to g7. White forces resignation after queen to f5, which attacks the g4 pawn as well as the queen. So black resigned. I want to thank you for watching and subscribe to get updates to new videos. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and visit www.betterchesstraining.com for more articles to improve your chess. I want to point to you to another YouTube channel, the St. Louis Chess Club and Scholastic Center, and this particular video on the lower right, where Grandmaster Yeser Sirawan has a more detailed look at the minority attack. He does a great job explaining it, and I hope you check it out.